right, YouTube. I'm
or
Shaggy.
or website, JLo.
Okay.
Well, because they can listen to the website.
Oh, that's right. I forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
This is another PairUcast, and this one we're going to be discussing our latest investigation and what happened at this investigation. Um, I'm going to be letting John explain most of this because of what actually happened to him. He got to witness it. He was there for it live and direct. Um, First of all, we want to discuss, what we felt about the place. The claims were off the chart. I mean, they were Hollywood-like claims. The Conjuring, is what it sounded
Mm-hmm.
like. Um, Personally, when I got there, it is a creepy-looking house. I definitely can see, the setting for that. It's an older house. I believe it's from what the 20s or 30s maybe,
I forgot what he said, but yeah.
something like that.
I think he said 30s because I remember telling myself Roy's building is in the late 20s.
Is it the late 20s, right?
Yeah.
And they talked about it being, in the area where the battle took place, here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
The plantation land, there was definitely a lot of possibilities for paranormal activity, but as far as
Hurricane Alicia in
right,
83.
and Carla, I think they said there was another hurricane that really
Was that
tore it
tropical
up.
storm?
I honestly don't remember. I know Alicia was in 84, 83, 84.
Somewhere in there.
Carla, I think is what it was in the 60s, I believe. I don't know. But anyhow, as far as initial feelings went, I never had any um, eerie feeling, nothing myself. Now, I don't consider myself a good judge of that. A lot of people are sensitive, and you'll hear a lot of investigators talk about, using their body as their main tool. Um, if that's the case, then I'm no good, because I'm just not sensitive to that kind of stuff. But we did get a lot of things happen. A lot of we're still editing as of this recording. We're still editing down the footage, which unless you heard this on the website, if you're watching this on YouTube, then that video is already out, because that's going to be our 100th video. But as of this moment, we have captured EVPs, ghost box responses, a lot of K2 hits, and something else that happened that was rather interesting, John. And I think I'm going to let you take over at this point.
Well, you can start with yours, when you went.
Well, okay.
Like at the end of that, I guess.
Initially, we sat down with the family, and they told us their stories of what they had experienced. The focal point centered around an above garage apartment that the, I believe, 19-year-old stepson of the lady that asked us to come out there lives. And she believes quite adamantly that is evil, and believes that we might be dealing with demonic presence of some kind. Inside the house, they've had locked doors actually in their master bedroom that would be locked by the handle, and a padlock that has been opened, I believe she said 6 different times. One in particular, she was in the shower, and she's sensitive to this kind of stuff, claims to be, and felt something wasn't right, and she looked out the shower, and she could see diagonally from her perspective out of the bathroom and directly at that door that leads to a balcony that is not accessible from the ground. And the door was wide open, and she said that in the mirror she saw "ha ha" written in the mirror. Now that would creep anybody out, and she says, and I quote, "I tore out of there like a hot mess," which was rather funny. But when she got back and looked over the mirror, the words weren't there, and you're trying to apply heat to it typically will bring it back, especially if you've used oils, like your fingers. Wouldn't expect that if it was a non-human entity that had left it. But regardless, she could not get it to appear, and she was wondering, was that something she actually saw, or was it in her mind's eye? Who knows, but the door was locked and it was wide open, so that was enough for her. There have been other, foul smells, maggots that were seen, You know, a lot of things I believe we've actually talked about already on a PairUcast. Now that I think about it, I think we discussed all those, but we're really focusing now on our personal experience. When we got there, we didn't experience really any of that level. We did a lot of work in the master bedroom with different types of cameras, you know, trying to see if we could elicit a response to get the door open. Never happened. We do, like I said, we still have a lot of footage to go through, but actually Huck initially did the first solo session in the above garage apartment, and as of right now, I did capture through his session what I believe to be 4 EVPs, not Class A. They're faint and whispery, and I'll probably be the only person on the planet that can hear them, and I'll accept that. That's just fine. But then I went in for my session, and the only thing I believe I captured was some kind of a mist-like type of thing that just seems to float from one side of the room down, levels off, and then floats the rest of the way across. No EVPs. Neither one of us got any kind of EMF action of any kind. Then John goes in there, Mr. J-Lo.
Well, during that time that you were there, I was talking to Pam, and she was just pacing back and forth from the kitchen to the little dining room that was there. And I was like, you know, you're nervous, aren't you? And she's like, yes, I know that this is negative. I just know it. And I was like, well, you know, as of right now, because I hadn't had the experience yet, I was like, right now, I don't feel that there's anything negative here. I was like, I've gotten here, I feel fine, I haven't seen anything, you know, nothing. I was like, not that you don't have anything here, but, you know, that it's just not negative to me. And so Shaggy comes in, and he's like, so who's next for this solo session? And I was like, I'm next. I was like, tag me in, you know. So, you know, we did the high five, tag me in. I went, and I started recording immediately as soon as I stepped outside the door. And I had my cap light that, you know, so I got a little bit of light, and then you gave me the little flashlight, you know, so I could see in front of me.
At this point, it was already dark.
Yeah, it was dark. And you got to walk, you know, across the driveway, and then there's a little gate, and you open up the gate, and then there's stairs. Well, when I got outside and I got about to the gate, I started getting the feeling that there's somebody behind me. Somebody, you know, it was an uneasy feeling.
Right.
You know, it could have been just because it was dark and because, you know, I normally don't do solo sessions. Maybe I've done them before, but, you know, it could have been that.
One of the claims was that a female was seen behind somebody on the steps that, you know, was not there.
Yeah, see, I didn't even hear about that.
Right. Well, you remember that was the story about the girlfriend, but it was actually not of the boy that lives there. It was one of his friends who was with him. She was there to pick him up.
Yeah.
And she was pissed off because she wanted to know who the girl was on the steps behind
Yeah, I remember
him.
part of the story, but not all of it. Cause,
in other words, you know, she assumed they'd had a girl up there with them, but there wasn't any.
I was trying to record and, you know, get the shots versus listening to what's going on.
Right.
So I'm headed, you know, I open the gate and I'm headed up these steps, and I'm, you know, I'm even talking on camera, and I'm like, you know, man, it's a little creepy out here, and I think that's exactly what I said. But I just had this feeling like there was somebody behind me.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't a strong feeling. It was just kind of like, you know, look over your shoulder type of thing. There's somebody there. And so I go up the next set of steps because it goes, you know, up one way, and then you make a turn, then it goes back the other way. And the door's on the left side, you know.
Right.
So I go in the room, you know, and I'm like, it's still a little uneasy feeling, you know, when I go in there. Nothing major, not like, oh, you know, there's...
Yeah, you can chalk all that up to being by yourself in a dark, unfamiliar place.
Yeah, but I'm just, you know, adding that on there because I'm just telling you how I felt.
Right.
You know, so I go in the room, and I turn on the lights, you know, start setting everything up. I'm looking around, you know, and I'm like, all right, what am I going to start it with? And so I started getting everything ready, and then I go and I was like, all right, I'm going to turn off the lights. I thought your camera was still recording in the corner. I didn't know it wasn't.
Yeah,
because
I
could have actually charged it with my little adapter.
Damn it.
But so I sit down and I start recording myself, and at this time I didn't even have the digital recorder on. So I said, okay, you know, I like the spirit box, and that's what I started with.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what we had done is we had set up on a table right at the foot of his bed where he had like a little computer chair.
Yeah, he cleared it all off,
Cleared it all off
so we
for
could
us.
set all of our stuff there.
Yeah, we had everything available for every investigator, you know, camera.
So each
those
investigator
box.
that did a solo session sat in the same spot.
Right, yeah. Well, actually, Huck I don't think ever sat in that chair.
Oh, well.
He
no.
got
That was
up.
what it was for.
That was what it was for. He was sitting on the steps that led down to the living room area of the apartment complex, the apartment room. When we left on camera, I see him. He gets up from that spot immediately, walks over, grabs a few pieces of gear, and goes right back to that spot. So he never actually went to that chair to actually conduct the investigation.
And so I start my, little thing going on. I say, if there's anybody here that would like to communicate, I want to communicate with you.
Right.
I was like, I'm J-Lo, and if you're here, let me know. I'm not here to push you out. I'm not here to make you try to do things you don't want to do. I was talking like that because that's my approach. I'm not yelling, hollering. I'm just calm about it, just like,
Yep.
my voice was about as loud as it is right now.
I guess that needs to be noted as well. Huck's approach is always more aggressive, and it builds as nothing happens. He seems to get a little more agitated and tries to provoke. My approach when I enter an area, I always go in with the idea that there's really nothing here, and I go in with a kind of sarcastic attitude. You're gonna have to prove something to me. I don't believe nothing's here. And that's kind of my approach. So he's aggressive, I'm sarcastic. John is nice about the way he does it, and continue from that
And
point.
I believe my approach over past investigations has, proved to get responses.
It has.
So I've just kept it that way. Plus, I'm just
you
not
are Captain K2. I've never seen. There's
I'm
nobody
just-
on the team that can get more hits with that thing than you.
I'm just not a loud, mean person,
Right.
And so I start, with the spirit box, and I'm, asking questions, and I don't remember all the questions I asked with the spirit box, and I'm not going to go through all of them anyway.
Right. They'll see it.
But I didn't really think I was getting anything, I didn't have it recorded, into a digital recorder or nothing, so I can't listen to that separately. But so I put that down after, I don't know, 10 minutes, more or less, something like that.
Right.
And then I said, all right, I'm going to start another recording, but this time I need to, use the digital recorder with my camera, because I had
synced it up.
Yes, that's when I synced it up.
So the first section, I haven't gone through that yet.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And for those of y'all that are listening, and even watching, if you haven't been to our Instagram or anything, I have a mount for it's a GoPro clone camera. That's what we're using right now. I have a mount where it's on the K2 meter, so the lights from the K2 are on the bottom of the frame of the video, just barely enough, just enough so you can see it.
Right.
So it's always there,
It's
everywhere.
Perfect.
Everywhere it moves, that's it follows.
Yeah.
And so I have a light on my cap that has a dusted on, and so we shut off the lights in that room, and we had the infrared light on, so the camera that's modded could see all that. So I take my cap off and I set it on my knee so the light's facing my face.
Ah, right.
That's why I'm lit up, even though the light's
Okay.
facing the other way, the light bulb that we have.
Right.
And so I start, recording myself, asking questions, and, you got the audio from it. And I start saying, all right, I'm here, is there anybody here that would like to communicate, Let me know that you're here by coming close to this device. It's a K2 meter, and there's a green light right here. And I would always point to it, and I would say, come close to this and make these lights light up. Let me know that you're here. And I was like, again, I'm not trying to, push you out of here or do anything. And I would, reassure the
Light the K2
spirit
up for
entity
yes,
if there's, and I
do
started,
nothing for no. Yeah.
I started doing that. I started asking questions, and I said, okay, light up the K2 meter when I ask you these questions if it applies, more or less. I'm wording it differently, to get through.
Right.
And so I say, are you a child? If so, light up these lights. And, nothing would happen. I'm like, okay, so you're not a child. So I would skip to the age of 20. If you are, well, But actually, before that, I said, "Are you male or are you female?" And I would, the
Right.
lights would go off, and I would say, "If you are male, light up these lights," and they lit up, just
Yeah.
started jumping. That's what it was.
Exactly.
That's when I started
It was
asking the
direct
age.
responses to questions.
Yeah, and that's when I started asking the age, and so then I got to the age of 20, and I said, "If you are over the age of 20, light up these lights," and it would light up again.
Right.
And so, and I was like, all right, so you're a male over the age of 20. If you are over the age of 30, light up these lights. Nothing.
Yeah.
It would just stay on, just the standard, the green one that's there in the front that's always on.
Right.
And then I say, if you are under the age of 30, light up these lights. And they would light up. And I'm like, okay, so let me skip down to 25. If you are, I don't know, remember if it was over or under the age of 25, and I wasn't getting any responses, so I started
at some
back.
point, it stopped answering you.
Yeah, and I started with 29, 28, 20, all the way down.
All the way down.
And I wasn't getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point I said, if you are still here,
Mm-hmm.
let me know that you're here by coming close to this device and lighting them up. I was like, I gather you are a male over the age of 20 and under the age of 30 when you passed. And then I said, how did you die?
Right.
I started asking those questions. I said, if you died of natural causes, light up these lights, and nothing. And I said, if you were murdered, not specifically how, but just if you were murdered, light up these lights.
Before that, you asked, is there anybody here?
Yeah.
And it registered.
Yeah.
So. But then you started, like you said, you started into the questions, and I know this because it's fresh in my mind. I just went through editing it last night, and how, you were getting no responses on the different ways someone might have passed.
Yeah, and that's when I said, "Were you murdered?" And there was nothing. And so then at that point, G comes up.
Right.
And I was like, what are you doing here? I was like, I've only been here for, it might have been like 12 minutes, 13 minutes, I don't know.
That was my bad.
And he goes, they told me to come check up on you. I was like, check up on me? I was like, I don't need to be checked up on, but look, go ahead, stay in here.
Luckily,
I was like, I'm not getting a lot of, I am getting a lot of K2 action, that's what I said.
But I regret nothing because you had a witness. Can I get a witness?
True, that was true, but
since the camera was off,
but I still wonder what would have happened if it was just myself. If anything, could I have gotten beyond that? That's what I wonder.
Well, at the same time, though, G had made a point that the person in the room that lives there, that's been getting the activity, he's a young guy, what, about 19. G's the youngest guy on the team.
Yeah.
He even made the point, what if, if so now forever the question will be, well, would it have happened if G hadn't have showed up?
I know. I look at it, both ways, but then at the same time, but at the same time, apparently shortly after that, Roy was hanging out behind the door.
Yeah, Roy comes in. He's all like, it took like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 minutes for y'all to get through his thick skull, I guess. We love you, Roy. But he was all like, I was just right outside the door. I was just waiting on you. I thought you were going to come right back. And you were like, no, dude, this happened. And he was like, but I was right outside. We're like, dude, hello?
Okay, so well, speaking of back to Roy, he was standing outside the door.
Right.
Nearly the whole time. So he followed G up there, and he was standing there waiting. So he witnessed what happened.
Yeah, but he doesn't make any. He doesn't even make
That's
any.
Wrong.
I know. He does not allude to that at all in the video.
I know, but he
But
said
how could he not have heard that?
He told
it was
me
so loud.
He told me.
Yeah, he was deaf. He was deaf child.
So now you're trying to give it away. I said audible, and then you're like,
Sorry.
giving away other words.
I'm not saying nothing. I didn't say nothing.
So back to the story. So G comes up, and I said, okay, I'm gonna start where I left off. I was like, don't mind G. He's one of us. He's not here to hurt you, try to push you out. I said all that stuff because that's how I roll.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, right where I left off, I was asking you, how did you die? And I said, so if you passed away, whatever, did you die of a disease? And that's what I said.
Yeah.
And the K2 didn't do anything.
Uh,
But about 10 seconds,
give or take.
yeah, after the question,
Yeah.
I got freaked out. I didn't know what happened. I just heard this loud sound and this crashing sound. And when I say crashing, it wasn't like a car crash sound. It was the sound of something falling and hitting something else on its way.
And at that point, your face is a WTF? You're just like, it's kind of a startled confusion.
Yeah. But G was, he was standing right next to me, and whenever I told him I was going to continue, he said, oh, the K2's been going off. Hey, just let me know so I can take a picture.
Quick withdraw.
And when this sound happened, I like twitched real quick, and then immediately he must have spazzed.
Yeah.
Like twitched because he was camera ready. He had a Polaroid. And
finger on the trigger.
And when that light flashed, that's when I went, So.
Yes.
I made the face, because it was a shock scare, after he made that after the first flash. Mm-hmm. Then he flashed it the second time, and then he was like, what was that, And mind you, it was complete darkness. You could tell when you see the video that it was because my pupils are this big because they're trying to focus in the dark. Because that's what your eyes do in low light, which basically there was no light, with the exception of what I could see outside, the window from neighbor lights or whatever.
Right.
Which was not entering, the apartment, up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's like, you want to turn the light on? I was like, yeah, turn it on. And so we turn it on, and then that's when I have the camera facing me, and I turn it opposite of me, which is facing the window. And that's where the curtains and the blinds are, And as I go to move it, that's when the K2 starts flickering again.
Right.
And he's like, whoa, you see that? And I was like, yeah. I was like, the curtain rods came off, and there was 3 wooden brackets that hold this wooden rod up. There's one on each end and then one in the center. The one on the left and the one in the center were off, and the curtain rod was hanging like this.
Yeah.
And it hit the blinds, which it busted the blinds, because later on when we went to go check it, I went to go and see if they would bend back up. No, they were busted.
They were broken.
Broke. They're like this now.
It hit hard.
Yeah. And when we looked and we got pictures of it too, you can see those anchors. They were huge anchors, and there was 2 anchors per bracket.
Right. Screwed and anchored.
One of them was a little bit larger. It was this plastic one. It looked like an auger bit, the big old spiral.
Uh-huh.
And
that wasn't sheetrock those things were in. That was, what is this? I think it's the same stuff you got here.
Drywall? Sheetrock?
Well, no, that's not. It was, I can't remember what they call it. It's, see, in my home, that's sheetrock. That's, I could put my finger probably through that. This, you couldn't. I can't remember what stucco. I think that's what they call it. I don't know. It's stronger than sheetrock. Let's put it that way.
No, that's just a finish over the sheetrock.
This?
Yes.
Nah, come on.
Yeah, that's sheetrock.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what was in there too? Because
yes,
the same
took
stuff
the picture
that I have in my trailer
is in every house.
What's the difference
in the world? Nothing. There's different thicknesses of it.
Well, that must be what it is. Because I can tell you the stuff that's in my home, it probably wouldn't have supported that.
But that's what the anchors are for.
Well, even so, I don't know. It looked like it was made of sturdier stuff than my walls are. But it wasn't that heavy either. When you lifted it up, when you held it up, point is, it shouldn't have fell out like that. And it didn't even seem like it fell. It seemed like it was, from the audio sound.
Whose story is this?
Well, I heard the audio.
So, we took pictures, and we looked at the wall, and it appears as if those brackets were ripped out of the wall. Not like, it just, it was in there loose and just fell out.
Right.
It was like if somebody, went up there and just pulled the whole thing down.
Because the left one was further away, right? The one in the middle had dropped behind on the side of the couch because where the couch is sitting.
Yeah,
but that other
exactly.
one was further away.
Yeah, if the couch was there, then it would,
Yeah.
So the other one could have went further, maybe.
Right.
Who knows?
So we get to the point where...
That's when, G's like, you want to go? And I said, no.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm staying right here. I was like, I'm not afraid of it. I was like, it got me. That was a good trick,
Jump scare.
It gave me a good shock scare, as I call it. I was
Right.
like, but, I was like, no. I was like, I'll call them. And so I text, Shaggy.
Right.
And
we were...
I think at that point, G went to go and call or somebody, and I had text you.
Yeah.
And then, like, within seconds, Roy had opened the door. I was like, what? What happened?
What's going on?
I was like, the curtains came off. I was asking, how it died or whatever, and a few 10 seconds later, the curtains came off the wall. And he goes, yeah, I heard that noise. So he heard it.
Yeah, I don't know how he couldn't have heard it. That was just way too loud. And at that time, me and Huck were in the master bedroom trying to investigate the locked door that opens up, taking pictures in it. That's when G comes busting in. He's like, guys, you gotta go over, the curtain. He was tripping, yeah. So we're like, what? Dude, we grabbed stuff and we took off to go over there. And that's where we pretty much spent the rest of the time.
Yeah. Was it paranormal is the question.
Right.
If you look at all the evidence, which is not going to be in this video, it'll be, by the time you see this video, you have a chance to see the evidence.
Right, 'cause it'll be up.
Yeah. So, if you look at all the evidence, between the K2 going off, when I'm asking questions.
Right.
And it's not constantly
or anomalies, as we call them.
I was asking questions, not anomalies.
No, you're saying evidence.
Yeah, when you look at the evidence that we gathered, and the evidence is K2 meter going off.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yes, there was a lot of that.
Leading up to it.
Yeah, and then, suddenly the curtains call.
The last curtain call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say...
and then afterward, there's other clips where the boy, he's on the bed, and there's a lot of light anomalies
Yep.
going by.
And we got more ghost box responses and K2 hits after that had happened. And, a lot of people would say, the skeptic is automatically going to say it was just a coincidence. But, I'm not a coincidence theorist, Are we saying it's proof positive of the paranormal? Of course not. We don't say that about anything. But I don't believe it was a coincidence that the K2 meter was going off. There was ghost box and EVPs and all this activity that happened, this anomalous activity.
After reports of different things happening in this room.
And it just seemed to lead up and build up to this thing, which, what does it mean? I mean, could it have been, aggravated entity of some kind that showing off? Could it, we've looked at different options that maybe it was building energy while me and Huck was in there doing our turn, and it just happened to amass enough energy to show off when you were there. Or it could have been that it was intimidated by me and Huck's more sarcastic and aggressive style, and you're more laid back and nice and thought it could take advantage of you. I don't know.
Or it just it's not negative in any way, and it just responds to niceness,
Right. I mean, again, we had no feeling. I wouldn't, we had no negative feeling of any kind. We had no feeling of any kind, Did not seem to get any kind of paranormal feeling. But I don't judge by my feelings because I'm not sensitive like that. But I wouldn't consider the curtain rod being ripped off or knocked down as being something nice. But it's not evil.
Yeah.
You know?
And
So,
after that, I was in
yes.
a, I don't know, it wasn't for show when you see the video.
Right.
The way I was acting, I was in this, I wasn't high or, I was just in this weird mood now. And I'm not saying it was that, but I felt like I hadn't eaten in a while. I was weak.
Yeah.
Not like,
You were
super
drained.
weak.
You described it as being drained.
Yes, and that I was.
Right.
I was weak, but I don't want to say like, oh, I couldn't get up and do anything.
Right.
I just felt like, I'm just like, I don't feel like doing anything. That's how it was.
Right. And Huck's the big one that's always saying, use our energy, and he says it every time. And it's quite possibly, if that's something that's possible, it could have tapped into some of your energy because you were open, to it and used it to then show off or do whatever they do. So, which left you, tapped out, basically. Because I noticed if you watch G, he's kind of the same way. He kept talking about needing new pull-ups.
Loopy, that's, I guess, a better word to subscribe. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
To,
Shameless plug.
To describe it is, being a little loopy, like, lightheaded, dizziness, but it wasn't, I didn't feel lightheaded or dizzy. It was like,
Right. And
when you can focus your eyes on something and you can move your head and your eyes don't move with you. It was like that,
Right.
Which,
all of this is what people describe that have encounters like that. Well, it's just it's your first time.
I told Rosie about it. She always asks me. She always asks me, so did you catch anything? And I always tell her, so do you really want to know?
She's like, no, I won't be able to sleep.
And she's like, no, never mind. And she's like, well, my brother, told me something, and so I basically, kept nudging her. They call it, you gotta listen, you gotta, you gotta see the video now. You gotta.
Yeah.
I just kept doing that, and she got scared and she couldn't sleep. And she's like, "You're not going back there again, are you?" I was like, "Yeah, we will, if they allow us to. Yeah, we're open for going back over there, for sure."
Yeah.
So give us a call.
Oh yeah. But my wife's always, just wasting time and money. Okay. She'll, if I talk to her about it, she'll listen. I actually showed her that video clip you edited together where, we're like in the room earlier during daytime and I've got the ghost box going and I thought I heard, which I hadn't gone back and listened to this yet, but I thought I heard something saying leave or.
Yeah, and that was, you said it on camera.
Nope, not going anywhere. And you were like, yes, you're not given any reason to be scared. That you edit right to that clip with your face. And Becca was like, like what you said, Rosie said. She was like, wow, it looks like it really got him.
Yeah, it did. It got me.
But I would say, if you watch that clip.
But being scared, frightened, and afraid, they're different things. And it was a shock scare, jump scares, movies
and
do
really, if you want to get technical, the initial startle of the noise, of the crash of the thing falling. That wasn't what really got you. You had kind of a startled, what is going on? But you weren't, that face you made was solely
when he made the flash.
It was G, did that with that loud camera going off and the flash hitting you is what did it.
If you break it down by frame,
so if you want to get technical, you didn't even make that face over the curtain rod. You were already on edge, and G is the one that got you.
I wasn't expecting that,
No.
So subscribe to our channel. Thanks for listening and watching. If you do watch this when it's on YouTube.
Yep.
Share with anybody.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we're looking for is more of a I wouldn't say following, but more social networking and
Yes,
socializing.
that's what
You
we're really
know,
trying to do.
yeah, we're trying to expand. You know, which that's been our plan since day one.
If you're interested in watching, you know, real, normal, regular people investigate, you know, not, you know, professional, you know, we are weekend warrior types.
We're not scripted, you know, this isn't scripted in any way.
We haven't gone to Ghost Hunting 101. We do our own thing.
We don't write
our own
anything
way.
down and say, you know, like we just started talking for this PairUcast. That's
exactly.
how we do all of
Turned
it.
it on, and
Yeah,
that's how we investigate. We turn the cameras on and start asking questions.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're looking for the real deal, look no further.
Yeah, we don't try to have, you know, this.
Yeah, we don't have that guy.
We don't try to. Yeah.
With the shades.
Yeah, no hair.
We got big guys that could do that pose. You know, what we're talking about is, if you don't know it, if you look at almost every other paranormal team, they have that one guy, that big ball-headed guy with the shirt that's too small for him, and he's got big muscles, and he's mean mugging with sunglasses on. Look it up. You'll see what we're talking about. Okay. Yeah. We don't take ourselves that seriously, but we do take investigating seriously.
That's true.
There you go. Thanks for washing.
Thanks for swishing.
Thanks for watching/listening.
And we do have an Instagram, so follow us there.
Yep, that's the latest.
Because it is so easy with Instagram, you know. Yes, we're supposed to end it, but
yes,
it's so much easier with Instagram that we're allowed to post, you know, little clips and stuff before it even makes the final video.
I'm addicted to it now. I love
and
Instagram.
The way we're doing it is I'm taking screenshots. He's doing all the editing right now because I got a 4-year-old and she just stops me every few seconds, so I can't, you know, sit there and edit.
Yeah.
But I can take screenshots from those videos, and that's what I'm doing, so I can add those to the website, which I'm in charge of. So yeah. He's in charge of editing, and I'm in charge of the website. So, you know, we got something. We're both busy.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. 1, 2. Grab your